Hey everyone, welcome to another Daily Cinephile vlog. So yesterday I did a 2-hour drive, 2 hours to get there and then 2 hours to get back to see a re-release of Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl. Um, I got the passport to see all 8 Disney re-releases that are being done for the 100th anniversary celebration. Pirates of the Caribbean, the first one is possibly one of my favorite movies. Um, Maybe in like the top 20, not the top 10, but it's probably up in the top 20. And every time I watch it, it just seems to get better. Um, I like the franchise in general. I was never able to see the first one or even Dead Man's Chest in theaters. I only started watching them once at World's End came out, and then I've seen the other sequels. So seeing the first movie on the big screen was a big deal. It was a packed house as well, even though the movie has been out for about 2 weeks now at that theater. Each movie that Disney is re-releasing is getting 2 weeks at the theater. So it was really cool just to see it with a crowd, and the movie is just as great as ever. Like I said, it just seems to improve with every viewing that I've ever have had with it, and it was nice because like I was a little reluctant about that drive. There's other movies that are being re-released that I do want to see on the big screen. The next one is Toy Story, which I definitely want to see because that is one of my top 3 movies of all time, and I've never got to see it on the big screen. My other 2 favorite movies of all time, Back to the Future, and then my number 1, Hot Rod. I've been able to see those both on the big screen, but never Toy Story. I missed out on the 2009 3D re-release, so it's gonna be cool to see that on the big screen. But I wasn't sure if I want to do all of them on the big screen, but I bought the passport just because price-wise it made more sense to spend. I'm technically spending less even if I don't go to all the movies. But just doing the 2-hour drive, I wasn't sure if I was gonna end up enjoying Curse of the Black Pearl just because of that drive. I was like, I don't know if I am going to be so into doing this, but once the movie began, I was in it from beginning to end, again, as always. So it was definitely worth it. I just wanted to say, though, about this 100th celebration they're doing. They're doing these re-releases. I believe these are the same re-releases that every theater is getting. And it's kind of a complaint because as cool as it is that they're doing this and there's some good selections for movies, you got Toy Story, you got Coco, Moana, Frozen, The Incredibles, which I'm also very excited to see on the big screen, The Lion King, another one that I missed the 3D re-release that they did in 2010. So it's going to be cool to see that on the big screen. And then the Beauty and the Beast, which is another one I will see. All of those, and then Pirates of the Caribbean. Do you see kind of the issue with all those? All of them have been released within the last 30 years. The oldest one is Beauty and the Beast, 1991, so 32 years in total for their 100th anniversary. Now, it's like you're kind of missing a few movies there. And yeah, there's a couple of those movies from the early days that I'm sure they maybe don't want to show just because nowadays they wouldn't be as accepted, I guess. A lot of those movies that are on Disney Plus have sort of the labels around them that say, this has offensive depictions in it. They were bad then and they're bad now. That stuff that they usually add to all the different titles. But it's like, okay, Snow White and the Seven Dwarves. Like, that's your first animated movie, and you're not going to re-release that for the 100th anniversary? How about Fantasia? Fantasia is like considered one of the greatest animated movies of all time, and you're not going to re-release that. But then if you even go into like the 40s and the 50s, you got Bambi, Dumbo, Peter Pan, Alice in Wonderland, Sleeping Beauty, Cinderella, all these different movies that are just kind of getting ignored. And then you got like the live action stuff because, on top of all the animated movies that they've made, they only chose 8 movies to get re-released, and only one of them is a live action film. And I think Curse of the Black Pearl maybe is one of Disney's best live action movies they ever made. I don't know to what extent you could include the Marvel stuff and the Lucasfilm stuff. Not that I think it's a little too recent to be re-releasing something like Force Awakens anyway, or even something like the newer Avengers movies, even though they are re-releasing Coco, which was only released in 2017. I think a lot of people that would go see that as a re-release have probably seen it in theaters. But then you got like movies going back to, like the 80s. You got something like Tron, which I don't know if anybody would be interested in seeing Tron on the big screen, but it's like, okay, you made a new ride about Tron at the Disney parks. You're making Tron 3. So it's like you're still trying to make Tron a successful IP, but you're not going to re-release the first movie. I mean, that wouldn't be my immediate thought to re-release that one anyway, but it's just like, as far as the live action selections go, they only picked one, and I think it's a really good one, but I think there's still a lot of other popular live action movies that maybe could have been re-released. You got like the original Parent Trap, but even the remake, both of which I think are still considered, classics. Swiss Family Robinson, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, Treasure Island, and a lot of these movies that people maybe wouldn't be too interested in seeing. So I'm sure there's that incentive as part of it, where it's like they don't want to re-release something that no one's going to go watch. But it's just unfortunate that they didn't try to take advantage of this by, making a bigger deal out doing these re-releases and maybe going in order of their release dates and having a good reason for people to come to the theater. Because it's like, hey, I saw it's cool to just see the movie on the big screen, but there's not like any special posters that are going along with the purchase. There's not like special cups or any kind of special merchandise to go along with it. It's just like you can pay to go see the movie again, which is fine, but it's like, yeah, you're not giving a lot of incentive for people. They picked movies that people are going to see because like this one was nearly sold out, so a lot of people went, but it's just, as a Disney fan, it's like it's too bad that they didn't kind of make a wider scope for the different types of movies they were going to re-release. So I understand why they did it, but at the same time, it's like, I wish I could see Who Framed Roger Rabbit. That'd be a great one. I know that's technically not one that was released with the Disney label, but it's so associated with Disney. It's too bad. I'm sure that one, because there's many issues surrounding that movie anyway, as far as who has proper ownership over that character, or whatever the issues are. I don't know if they would have been able to re-release that one anyway, but still, I feel like there were other selections that they could have made, maybe more of them, and had them released throughout the year rather than just doing 8 towards the very end of this year. I don't know. That's just my thought, but again, I still am happy that they're re-releasing some of the movies. I'm going to get to see Toy Story on the big screen. I got to see the first Pirates on the big screen, but yeah, I hope maybe in 2024 they can do some more, because like technically this 100th anniversary celebration doesn't end in 2023. I think it's going into 2024 as well, mostly because of the parks, but I think they should maybe do a few more, do a second wave of different re-releases, but I highly doubt it. It made sense why they picked what they picked, but still, I would have liked more older stuff, and especially more of the older animated stuff. But anyway, those were my thoughts.